A National Education Council was set up under the 1978 policy. What this committee would comprise of was 9 members to be proposed to be set up to work as the advisory body at the higher education level. The members of the committee included the Secretary, Central Ministry of Education, President of the University Grants Commission, and Presidents of Provincial Committees. So a lot of top-level people, together with 9 other members, would meet in order to see the education at the tertiary level, the higher education level. Although the University Grants Commission was set up and hopefully was working in the right direction, setting a National Education Council was also seen as a need. So the 2 bodies would probably need to work together for higher education. Special education for the disabled. Now, for the first time, we see the disabled child being addressed in a national education policy. Before 78, the disabled child was totally ignored. In the 78 policy, the policymakers had the vision to include the disabled child in this policy. What about children that were deaf, dumb, mentally retarded, blind? How were they to be brought into the mainstream of education was seen essential in the 78 policy. Why should a young child that is disabled some way, and it's not his fault, not receive good quality education? And so the 78 policy for the first time focused on providing good quality education to these children. National Technical Teacher Training College. We've seen in previous policies a focus on teacher education. The 78 policy also focuses on teacher education, but it also calls to establish a National Technical Teacher Training College. After all, how you teach in general education, how you teach in professional education, and how you teach in technical education are not the same. The methods are different, the approaches are different, the strategies are different, and so how do you train teachers of technical education to teach? And so this setup was seen as a step in the right direction to help teachers teaching in technical institutes, in technical colleges, in technical education institutions to acquire teaching skills. Now, we shall be looking at reasons for the target not met for literacy. Why was the 1978 policy not able to meet the target? We see one reason is the reduction in the amount of allocated funds for education. How much does the government annually spend on education? And we see, beginning in 1978, from 1.3 to 1.4 to 1.5, it increases by 0.1 or 0.2% a year, which is not even a drop in the ocean. And 12 years later, in 1990, is 2.1%. When your focus on educational fund is so low, targets cannot be met. You need funding, you need money, you need monetary resources to enable you to focus on and implement what you've said in your policy. Without appropriate allocation of funds, this will not be possible, and no matter how many more policies we write, if we don't also include more funding for education, the policy targets will not be met, or will be partially met, or will be met in certain areas and not in certain areas. If we want policy targets to be met 100%, we will have to increase our funding for education substantially.